You are now listening to Candid Discussions live on Rip Radio. Candid Discussions serves you up with the best place to be to discuss love, dating, relationships, and all the obstacles that come with them. Sit back and listen to Candid and Unrestricted D on Candid Discussions.
All right, welcome to Candid Discussion. It's been a long time since I've been here. You been here without me?
No, I don't think so.
Well, you been on Listen Vision without me.
Oh, yeah, okay, maybe.
But you've been on Rip Radio Network without me too. You do a lot of things without me.
Don't do that.
Okay.
Not on purpose.
Not on purpose?
Nah.
All right, welcome to Candid Discussion live here on RipRadioNetwork.com. We are here each and every Wednesday.
Yes.
Between what times?
I'm going to tell you the right time, 6 to 7.
7 what? p.m.?
Yes.
All right. I'm Unrestricted D. This is my wife.
Candy Davis.
All right. So tonight we have Miss Deborah Franklin. Miss Deborah Franklin is a author, a media coach, speaker, and an entrepreneur. Deborah believes that everyone can reach their fullest potential and unite their power within if they change their mindset. I'm gonna need you to talk to my wife after this. But she is the author of Adjectives in 21 Days, 21 Minutes of Prayer and Meditation. She is the host of Conversation with Deborah Franklin, which me, Candy, and a couple of our other co-hosts were guests on the show. And Candy and Sunshine was also, is it safe to say panelists? No?
For the show?
Panelists?
For which one?
For the awards.
Oh,
they got
no,
awards.
they were honorees.
Was it panelists?
We were honorees.
They were honorees.
Okay,
There's
honorees.
a difference.
Okay, I'm sorry. Honorees for that, for her show. And also she is the co-host of The Tea. Welcome, Ms. Deborah Franklin.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
She's
Glad to be
always
here.
a lovely person to meet in the studio and in person, wherever we are.
Yes.
All right, so if you're just tuning in, and of course you are, tonight's topic is relationships and religion.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That's a lot.
That's a whole
that's
lot.
like 4 shows right there.
It
At
is.
least. That's like a year's topic.
Oh,
You
my
could
God.
do a month for a long time.
Yes.
When we came up with this topic, honestly, I didn't feel comfortable talking to anyone but you.
Really?
Yeah, you was the first one to come to mind because when we came onto your show, you were so non-judgmental.
Yeah.
You know, you understood that different people have different ways of life, and you didn't, per se, like, throw your nose up in the air.
Mm-hmm.
You accepted each one of our personalities, and you worked with it.
Right.
So, I had to respect you, and I understood that. I said, you know what? Let's do relationship and religion. It never has to be on the show.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Definitely. Because, I have like 4 personalities. I sure enough do.
Yep.
That's the only way. That was the only way I can get Dwayne to marry me.
Yeah,
He's like, I get 4 women. I bet.
That's right. Bring them on.
Maybe that's one of the tricks for being in a
Right.
relationship.
Exactly.
You got to figure out you got to get more women in you.
It ain't
Yes.
role playing, it's personalities. Everybody think it's role playing.
Yes.
All right, so Candy, would you like to start off?
Yeah. So, I just wanted you to tell our listeners your background, your denomination, just to give them a little overview before we move into the topic.
Okay. For those of you that don't know, I am Deborah Franklin. Y'all, I got to get used to being back in the studio because I haven't been in the studio for a minute. I've been working out my house because we're getting ready to make some changes with my show as well. I am a host of Conversations with Deborah Franklin, which is basically a show that's a variety show. Can't wait to come back on so we can talk about that. And we just did what Dwayne was talking about was #Celebrate a Sister, which is an award show that we put together to honor women from different walks of life, because I feel like as women that we have to learn how to get along together regardless of what our backgrounds are or regardless of what we're doing. So that's why the honorees, if anybody that was there knew that there were honorees from totally different genres. I had preachers there, I had adult conversation show there, and those of you that watch the show, you know what that is. I had a minister that was on there, and then I even had another young lady who just launched her own tequila line. So we had a variety of people. So my background is that I am, which I really don't share a lot, I am a minister within the AME denomination right now. And right now, I don't even know why I said that right now, like I'm getting ready to change something in the next week. But maybe
That's like when people say, I'm married right now.
Like right now, like tomorrow something else might happen. I'm an educator, and I'm also a media coach, and that's a whole nother thing. So there's a lot of things that I do, and I think that's what aids me in being more open-minded when I go around different people. Well, no, take that back. I'm open-minded because I choose to be. Because so many people choose to be closed-minded regardless of their educational background or what they've been exposed to. So that's pretty much me in a nutshell.
Okay. All right. You got what you need.
Is that what you need?
Unrestricted.
Oh yeah, I mean, I already done my homework.
Thank you for sharing. So we're just gonna jump right into the topic.
Okay.
All right. So my first question is, how do religion help relationships?
How? Well, sometimes religion can be that common ground between somebody, between the two people, because usually it may even start because they met somebody at a religious function, not necessarily at church. It could have been a play. It could have been some type of outreach that was going on. That's a way that it can help. But then that's still a loaded question, because I know the next question is, how can it hurt? Because
that was my rebuttal.
Okay. Because that's really that was the bells that started going off in my head. Because let's say the politically correct answer would be, God is just in the mode of everything. God is here to just guide you through your marriage, through your dating relationship, because when you have God in the center of everything that you're doing, God is going to help you make it through. But when you get so deep and so holy, then you can be so stupid at the same time. Mm-hmm. And that's what I don't appreciate. And a lot of times I'll tell everybody, when women tell me, oh, I'm looking for my Boaz, I say, well, baby, did you know what Boaz look like? Mm-hmm. Boaz could look like a cyclops, and you sitting up here praying for something. You don't even know what the quality.
I know what my Boaz look like.
But I'm going to take it a step further. When she was working, he never told her to stop working and to give her multiple things. He's told his servant to drop extra. Do you really want somebody to drop you extra crumbs, or do you want them to drop you the whole basket? So if you look at it and then look at that, their relationship was built on a financial deal. In order for him to get the land, he had to marry her. Mm-hmm. It wasn't no love in it. And then when you look at it a little step further, the mother-in-law told her to go in and lay at his feet. We don't know. Nobody ever talks about that lay at his feet meant she told her to go sleep with him before he married her.
Oh.
So.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Wow.
Go ahead. Look it up.
You said.
It
was said to sleep with him.
That's what laying at your feet. When you look at what that means in the Bible from a biblical context, Naomi told Ruth, go in and lay at his feet. That's what she was telling her to do. Bible scholars, I know y'all watching. If you got something to say, then bring it.
Yes.
Feel free to call. Yeah, go ahead.
Feel free to call in 301-232-5700. You can have a conversation today with Miss Deborah Franklin because she got a lot to say.
Because I just try to share things like that, because sometimes you got to be careful of the qualities that you're praying for. Because a lot of times people say, well, I'm praying for this, I'm praying for that. But then what if that package comes in an age that you don't like? Or what if that package comes in a denomination or a color you don't like? So whatever you're praying for, you have to be specific. And I shared this with somebody. I had praised God. I just want to make 100,000. I want everything. I want to make that 6 figures for the first year. But God didn't tell me I'm going to work 6 jobs to get it.
And you know what? You made a valid point, because I hear a lot of women say they won't date outside their race, or all these old men will keep coming towards them, or all these babies trying to holler at them, stuff like that. So it does make sense, kind of, in a sense, be careful what you pray for.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
Exactly.
Because I've been hearing, I don't even know if this is going the rate you were going, but it was like I've been seeing a lot of posts saying, would you date somebody that's 10 years younger than you? Or is it okay for a man to date a woman that's 10, 20 years younger than him? But then they say if a woman does it, there's a problem. So I'm like, why is there a problem? Because it's the same age gap.
Most of the reason they probably say it's a problem is because women are more mature than men.
Okay.
So if you are 40 and you date a 30-year-old man, he might not be at your maturity level.
But what if he got everything that you need or everything that you want?
I agree.
Right.
But
And-
maturity level and having stuff is not the same.
And then the crazy part, maturity level, because maturity level and age doesn't have everything to do with it too. Because I've met some guys that are my age and I'm still trying to figure that out. I'll get confused.
So, is there a maturity when it comes to religion?
I do
You
believe
think?
so, because you can't talk to everybody. Because if I said this to some people, what I just said, there'd have been a major argument. They'd have been throwing stuff. They'd have been all out of sorts, as opposed to looking at it and seeing what it says. I don't have a problem with discussing something, but don't get so deep that you can't figure something out. It's just like when they have the argument about, was David straight or was he gay? Because if you look at the way the scripture is written, it is questionable. So you can see how somebody could take that out of context.
Could you elaborate for Candy? Because I don't think she knows what you're talking about.
You wrong.
That's okay. Can you say something for my friend?
End quote. My friend has said. Well, when it talks about David loving Stephen more than he loved himself, that's the scripture that people take out of context and they try to use that to justify homosexuality. But that's a whole nother show.
But could that really be taken as that? That could just be loving thy brother.
Well, that is a question.
Just
That
how
is-
you said it to me, I could
right.
kind of.
You can receive it, but then it goes down to say that he loved him more than he loved his wife. Or
Oh,
loved,
yeah,
yeah.
okay.
It goes
Oh,
down a little
okay.
further.
I
So,
can't get with that.
Yeah, right. But some people, I had somebody say, that ain't in the Bible. That ain't in. I said, okay, go look it up. And it was there, and they couldn't handle it. But the thing is, I still feel like there's still maturity in religion, because sometimes you could take so many things, because you can get so radical that you become where you're going to kill people, where you're going to hurt people, where you're going to hate people. And I feel like that's where you take religion too far. It's okay to be okay with who you are, but you cannot force your beliefs on somebody else and or try to change what they believe.
Yeah, I sometimes jokingly, and I know you're not supposed to joke with religion, different forms of religion, let me say that much. Sometimes I'll tell somebody I might be Muslim Baptist. It's only because I say that because the more I learn about a religion, the more I kind of understand it. Now, I may not agree with everything within that realm, but I do respect some of the stuff that they say.
No, I totally get it, because I went to, when you go to a HBCU, everything come through.
Right.
And I was in communication, so I had to cover a meeting, and then I had friends that were Muslim, and they were talking about how they pray. And I was like, oh, y'all pray like this? I said, why y'all doing this when y'all praying? They said, that's because we want God to give us an abundance. And I said, well, doggone it, I'm going to be at my church talking about God, I want your abundance too. So, yeah, I said, yeah, I'm with you on that one. But now the other stuff, we got a little questions about it. But no, I totally get it.
Understandable. Back in my day, right? Back in my dating
which
days.
Day.
Back in my younger dating days.
Before
dating
November
days, dating
4th.
days.
2018.
Child number one was only around at that time.
Oh, gosh.
I wound up going on a date with a double date actually, with a homeboy of mine and a girl I went to school with and her friend. So we went to see what's the one with Al Pacino about religion? And
Fallen?
No.
Or the one with the
Al Pacino and
when he touched the water and it changed and it started steaming.
What's the dude name? Yes, that
Keanu
one.
Reeves. I think it was Keanu Reeves.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, okay.
It wasn't Constantine?
Devil's Advocate.
Oh, Devil's
Advocate.
That was one of
Okay.
my
That's my
favorite
favorite
movies.
Okay, mine too. Mine too. Actually.
Keanu Reeves, he was
So-
going to be my first husband. I'm
So,
sorry, go ahead.
I was there, so we all went out, we saw the movie, I just happened to lean over to the woman, like, just calm conversation, because this is our first time really interacting and meeting. Do you believe in God? What you mean, do I believe in God? I don't look like I believe in God? I mean, like, she went off on me. that point right there, I mean, she went off on the move. It's like I had to get up out of the seat and move one seat over. Like she just was like real extra with it. It's not like I said, you look like an atheist. I just asked her a simple question. It was either yes, no, I believe in such and such, whatever case may be. And it wouldn't even, and it's a movie. It's going on while the movie is going. So
That's because she thought she was probably that demon that fell.
Exactly.
That's what that was. She thought she was gonna touch the water and it was gonna start steaming.
Because
Don't
people
be like,
I'm
now
sorry,
I
not
want
to
to
cut
go
you.
see that movie.
People get so touchy when you say the truth.
Right.
yeah, and it's like, and I told her, I wasn't trying to, after the movie came out, I said, look, I didn't come to offend you. I just asked you a simple question. It was no reason for you to go off like that, especially in a movie theater. But that taught me from that point on to be careful to talk about religion and especially dating someone.
And I totally disagree, because if you don't talk about religion while you're dating, what's gonna happen when you stop, or if you decide to take the relationship further? Because that's a scary situation. Because if you really have strong beliefs, how can you be involved with somebody that does not? Because it's just like, now, honestly, now I'm gonna take it like, if I date somebody, I meet somebody, I don't lead with, hey, I'm Reverend Deborah Franklin. I don't do that. But at the end of the day, at some point, I got to tell who I'm with, because if I'm with them and we out and somebody walk up and say, Reverend Franklin or Reverend Deborah, what I'm going to do? And they don't know. So, and I mean, even though that's taken when I do a little step further, but and that same thing, what if somebody walk up to them and say, hey, sister such and such, or hey, brother such and such, and they don't even know you go to church?
So
There's a difference.
How soon in the courtship should you discuss religion and your beliefs?
In my beliefs, I think you need to discuss it early on.
Really?
And I'm not saying it shouldn't be not deep, not so deep.
Okay.
Now the question is, like, I'll ask quick, like, are you a believer? Because if you're not a believer, then I'm wasting my time, because then that means that we don't have some of the same beliefs. It's just like,
Okay, we dating.
Okay.
So, you just asked me, am I a believer?
are you a believer?
A believer in what?
Do you believe in God? Are you saved? Do you believe that that Jesus died on the cross, rose again for our sins?
I don't, believe in Jesus, but I believe there is a higher being.
Okay, then I would have a problem with that, me.
Okay.
Because how can I say that and be with somebody that would always be a rift? Because then you going in fighting with somebody.
But how many days have we been in, though?
It doesn't matter.
Oh, okay.
And
For me, but see, that's for me, because I know
So
what
you put
I
that
have
out
to go.
up front.
I have to.
Okay.
So what if you ask them that, but do you explore the fact that they might be willing to?
See, that's what I was going to get to.
And then
too.
yeah, okay. So, and then that's a whole totally different thing too, because it goes back to your maturity question. If you are a babe in Christ and you just quote unquote got saved yesterday, now you trying to date somebody that's been saved for real, not for real, but for a long time. But then there has to be an agreement, because usually somebody that's a baby in Christ is gonna be straight Bible 24/7.
Yeah.
God did this, God did this, God didn't say do this, God didn't say that, because they haven't had that experience yet. Whereas somebody that's quote unquote been in it for a minute, they have kind of got some leniency in some areas, and that's where you start to see the difference, because somebody that's quote unquote again been in it for a minute has some, either they're really rigid in some areas or they're very loose in some areas, and then that's when that dating game gets real tricky. And it's all about too what you're going to accept,
So do you think religion trump love?
It all depends.
Hold up.
What?
You get a little deep tonight. Hold up, man. Oh,
I think that's a loaded
that's
question.
a good question, though.
It's loaded though, because at the end of the day, I think that goes back to, did you discuss that up front? Because a lot of times love will trump religion if you didn't discuss the religion in the first place. Now you done fell in love with this person, and then this is when you find out they really an atheist. So what do you do?
So what if, let's say Dwayne and I were in a relationship? Oh, we are. And midway through the relationship, I found God. We neither one of us had God. Now I found God. Dwayne doesn't have God, but I do.
Okay.
Should our love the love I have for him trump. We're not married. Just should the love that I have for him trump me finding God? Should I move on from Dwayne?
That goes back to that's a personal decision that you would have to make, because again, now you're looking at, now I have this total lifestyle, because at the end of the day, say for instance y'all were doing some stuff that's considered worldly, and now that you're saved, you're saying I can't do this no more because I'm saved.
That will be a problem.
That would be a problem,
Right.
because at the
And I'm not trying to be funny.
And right,
I'm
and
saying
the
it
crazy
respectfully
part-
because
I agree.
no, because
It
at
would
the
be.
end of the day, it don't have to be sex.
Right.
We're
I
not even
know.
talking sex. It could
It
be
could be
just
liquor.
drinking.
Right.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. It would be a problem regardless.
Because
Yeah.
now you saying I'm saved. I can't drink no more. I can't go to the club no more because I'm saved. I can't do this. So now that builds a rift. Now the question is the person that did not get saved willing to work with the person that is saved? Because if they're not, and so it's okay, so Candy done got saved, and now she telling you she can't do all this stuff. Are you willing to stay in the relationship to follow her beliefs until you quote unquote get married, because the marriage bed is not defiled, and or what you do married is not defiled? Then that's different. But the question is, are those two willing to work together to take it to that next step? Because that's where you're gonna, because then love will conquer the religion piece, but it's gonna be still a two-way street. It's not one-sided. Y'all know that. Y'all the ones in a relationship. I don't even know why y'all got me on the show. I'm still looking.
And look, and then you knew us when we were fornicating. And now we're official.
Mama, I never fornicated with this man.
And first of all, wait a minute, he said that like I was there. Y'all,
Nope.
I wasn't
No, I mean,
there.
you were there in the
It
room,
wasn't
but,
me.
you know,
Not me.
we were on your show during that time.
Mom, every time I was over Dwayne house, I was just sitting in there reading the Bible.
See,
So-
Even though he took the hotel Bible.
And
That's
also,
freaking hilarious.
I agree with you because I've dated women that were
Ooh.
in the church.
I remember the nickname you had for the girl that you
Don't
dated
do
before
that.
me.
Don't
I ain't
do
gonna say it, but
What was her name?
church girl.
So,
that's a loaded nickname too.
So,
I used to hate that one.
so I was dating her, and I understand it's hard dealing with someone worldly, especially if you've been trying to, or you have been walking on the right side of Christ. It would be times that, I mean, of course, she's human, so she's going to make mistakes, and in religion terms, she's going to backslide here and there, whatever case may be. So she would drink sometimes, and then, we'll drink, and then, I'd be like, hey, let me get such and such, and she wants and she'd be like, no, I'm not drinking. That I was able to deal with, okay. But then there was sometimes where, no disrespect to you, things got a little frisky.
Okay.
It was like a little pattern, then I'm getting used to it, and then it's no. And then I get used to this pattern. And it's kind of like, do you leave or do you stay? But as Candy said, the feelings that I had for her were stronger than the lust. Because honestly, how she carried herself, and then, just her well-being of family and things like that made a big difference to me. But I would think if someone who really wasn't, I'm not going to say strong as I was, but if let's just say this, if it's a guy that's really worldly, right? He out there. He out to smash the grab.
Got it.
So, and he deals with a woman that's in church that, let's say she, she's
singing
60% in, 40% out. Okay.
Which
But
is
then-
most people.
But then she wind up want to be
Extra
80%
80%.
in, and then 20% out. Would that be something that, how can I say it? Would that be something that really could not be worked out if he don't want to deal with any type of going to church or believing in what she believe in? Even though we know it's a personal decision, but as far as what is taught in whatever Bible you read, or whatever religion that you are, do you feel like that's going to be a constant battle?
It can be, but it doesn't have to be, because if you're married, that's different. Because when you're married, like my dad and my dad and my mom never went to church together unless it was special occasions. So it was just like, so that's not, because the Bible doesn't say you got to go to the same church. The Bible just say you got to believe.
That was one of my questions. Let me tell you.
Sure enough was.
She couldn't know all our questions.
We did that one. Yeah, I ain't got nothing to ask now.
Deborah.
Because at the end of the day, we try to make religion so hard, and it doesn't have to be.
I agree.
And we try to be so deep. We so deep and so spiritual that we stupid and dumb. Because that's the problem, and then I think so many times that when you do meet somebody that's genuine, you don't believe it. So you thinking they faking and shaking when they really, that's just them. And then when you realize it, it's too late, because then you come back and be like, I'm sorry. And then it's too late, because now they done moved on to something else, because they done looked at what you did. You shouldn't have, quote unquote, dumped them in the first place, because you were scared of the relationship and you thought that they were being fake with you, when in all actuality that was their real personality. So I think we miss a lot when we put too much on religion.
And I definitely agree that we do. Because even when I was dating her,
Courting.
dating,
I cannot with you.
I would be like, damn, but then I'm like, oh, I'm sorry.
Me?
Like,
Yeah, but you know what, y'all? They did that to me on my show. They would say stuff. You would have thought you had walked into the Pristine Chapel. I was like, stop playing in here. Who are these people?
Me personally, I try to respect. Like, if I was to smoke, I wouldn't smoke around people if I didn't know they smoke. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
but that's just protecting my lungs, because I'll be like, I tell my students that.
yeah.
I'm
So
bringing that secondhand mess.
I
in
wouldn't
my
want to
room.
cuss around you and just be all potty mouth, and you'd be like,
No,
you know
but
any
you know what?
vocabulary.
But you know what the crazy part about that? Even people that are potty mouth, if they get too extra, I'll be like, for real, your vocabulary that's small.
and that would be one of my.
I mean, that's what I would say. And then usually, because some people that just curse all the time, they don't even realize they're cursing.
I agree.
Because they'll just start talking to me. I'll say, "Is that all you got? Can we work on the vocabulary just a little bit? Because especially when I know you got a couple degrees, so I know you've written at least 2 or 3 papers that had, a good string of the good King's English."
I want to. We got to take a break, but Can we get into the little maybe darker side of relationship and religion after the music break?
Sure.
And when I mean the darker side, just kind of get people to come back. Things.
No, because I got to deal with some of these people that's giving me these questions. I got people that talk about they need me on the show. So
They need to call in.
Yeah, they go ahead and call in.
Come
but,
on, tell them to call in after the break.
All right.
But yeah, things that's dealing with sex and
Which is the major topic.
drugs and
Yep.
Fornication
things like that.
and
So
adultery.
Yeah,
Yeah,
those things, yeah. But yeah, amen.
yeah, so we're gonna get into that right after this music break.
And
I am
commercial
Unrestricted D.
I am Candy Davis.
And tonight we have Miss Deborah Franklin on Candid Discussion. We'll be right back after this music and commercial break.
Thank you.
Butterfly dancing in the sky, spreading wings, flying high. Colors reflect into your eyes, lush, baby, laugh. Close to me, close to me, so close to me. Close to me, so close to me. delicious, like Parmesan on doughy bread. M&M's all green and red. That's exactly what I said. You're delicious. Ooh, come a little bit closer to my lips, 'cause I want you. Don't be afraid to do what you do to me. Ooh, come a little bit closer to my lips, 'cause I want you. Don't be afraid to do what you do to me. Like sunset on the sandy beach. Oh dear one, you're such a peach. Come closer, I can't reach. You're delicious. I must confess, you are the best. My favorite thing, there's no contest. Give me all, I'll take no less. You're delicious. Ooh, come a little bit closer to my lips, 'cause I want you. Don't be afraid to do what you do to me. Ooh, come a little bit closer to my lips, 'cause I want you. Don't be afraid to do what you do to me. Ooh, come a little bit closer to my lips, 'cause I want you. Don't be afraid to do what you do to me. Ooh, come a little bit closer to my lips, 'cause I want you. Don't be afraid to do what you do to me.
We are Candid Discussions, a radio show that holds open conversation on topics around relationships. We are looking to help local businesses with promotions through our radio show broadcast. If your business needs an extra push, feel free to email us at candiddiscussions@gmail.com.
All right, welcome back to Candid Discussion. K for Candy and D for Dwayne.
K for Candy and D for Davis.
Oh, it is your show because it's all about you.
No, it's not.
All right, so
I just
tonight,
had to throw that in there, though.
so tonight we have Miss Deborah Franklin. She is giving us quite of insight
I
on
know.
religion and relationship.
Hey, y'all.
All right, so look, we're gonna get into the darker side of things, okay? Now, was there a hard time in your life when you decided to walk on the
That I lost my mind and was just doing what I wanted to do.
yeah, but then but you decided to do right per se.
I think
was
you
it a
need to
hard
define-
well,
Well, there's a bug. All right. Oh, that's a real
Oh.
juicy thing.
Oh,
Okay.
my God.
All
you
right.
see them hands?
Yeah,
see
you
them
got
hands?
it. You got
see them
it.
hands?
Lord
Yeah.
help us.
Gotta have a man that'll kill a bug for you.
Yes, yes,
So-
yes.
So was there a time where you struggled? Let's say that much. Was it a time that you struggled from your worldly ways until walking the righteous ways?
And you know what? Yes. I'll just say yes. And to expound on that, we kind of got to define what we're calling worldly and what we're calling not worldly.
And I wanted to get to that. See that what we here. Hopefully Candy will join us.
Yeah, you know what?
we're
Okay,
here.
and then let me share this because Eva said ministry church begins at home. Each person have their own journey, which is a process to get where God will have them. So I think that goes back into the first segment we were talking about being in a relationship. That journey starts at home. You got to start that.
Okay,
there.
so is it safe to say that maybe if grandma was religious, mama strayed away from the church, and daddy didn't particularly care to go to church, that the seed might not be into church unless seat was
Nine
always to
times
go
out of
with the
but you
grandma?
know what? Yeah, I was getting ready to go there. But 9 times out of 10, when that happened, let's say when the mother strayed off and the father never went, that child was always with the grandparent at church. Now, those of us that grew up in church and had to be at church every time the door opened, those are the ones. We are the one. We are the problem of why the church isn't growing, because we were always there as a child or forced to, or church was used as a how can I say a babysitter and for discipline, because you can't act right, okay, so you going to church tonight. You can't do this, you going to church. So then church got that negative connotation as opposed to being that place of worship, that place of relationship, that place of communing together, and being in a social quote unquote safe social gathering. Then that's where the church we kind of messed up when we started using church for more than church.
And do you think so when we say religious, do you think people, just because you go to church, that you are more religious than the person who's not going?
Heck no. Okay. I've met the worst dudes that came out of church.
And I'm going to get to that now.
Because they know the Bible. And they know how to come at you. Well, the Lord just done told me that you the one for me. And you like, the Lord ain't told you that because he ain't told me nothing. So, but for those of us, but see, that goes back into maturity, because then they know the ones that they can play that line on, especially like, the Lord told you that for real. Oh my God, God has spoken. And they ain't trying to do nothing but get in your drawers. So it is what it is.
Now, I heard
what happened was,
I heard that some of the church girls are some of the worst girls.
Well, they always say the church girls are the freaks.
So, no, I didn't say that now.
Yeah, you did. That's what you wanted to say. I
didn't say that now.
I just said it for you.
Now, Deborah, I didn't say that now.
I was a church girl.
Hey, Latasha. Yeah, my whole family is
really?
spiritual.
Yes,
oh, wow. See the things I learned on Canada
I told
Discussion?
you that before. I grew up in church.
I can tell.
Yes,
the way you act?
No, I grew up in church from the time I was 5 to the time I was 25.
When she talks about certain things, she goes both ways, and I can hear it.
Well, I went to Catholic school.
That don't count.
Kindergarten.
Archbishop Curl don't count.
The mama said that tuition hit her head. Get that boy out of here.
No, he gonna go to Fort Lincoln.
That's hilarious.
But kind of like swinging back to what we were saying. So, I was told that church girls are the freakiest. Do you feel like? Well, I can't really say that just church girls. I mean, that's just people in general.
Well, you know what? Some people say that, and I have to agree with my cousin, because she just said not all church girls are freaks, and that's the truth. Not all church girls, but not all girls are freaks, period. But sometimes the ones that were, they give the bad rap, and a lot of times they're not really freaks. They just do stuff that you wouldn't expect them to do because you put a label on them, because they
I was gonna ask you that. Yeah.
Because they are, let's say, the pastor's daughter. They are some leader in church, is a leader in the church's child. You put a label on them that's unfair, because you put them on a pedestal higher than you would just a regular member that's sitting in the pew.
So
and I don't think it's fair.
Do you feel like that sometimes they do that to act out as for
of course.
all that?
Yeah, because I know when you first get out, it is what it is. Go for it.
Yeah, I was gonna agree with what you're saying. Sometimes, and when you grow up in the church, you rebel against it, because you feel as though that you're, like Ms. Franklin said, one of the things that is really hard is that when you're told to go to church because you did something bad.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, now you start that negative connotation. Church is now related to something bad. So when you get a chance to skip church, to go do something else or do things, you start doing that. And then you be like, oh, this is what freedom tastes like?
Right, exactly. Because usually that wild side don't come out till you go to college. You be like, ain't nobody here.
True.
I can do me.
So do you think church is a good place to find your mate?
It can be for some. It can.
Should
be
one
for
go
some.
to church looking for a mate? How about that?
I don't agree with, because that's just like going to the grocery store on purpose. Every time you go to the grocery store, you looking for something. You go to church for church, and if you just so happen to meet somebody that becomes your mate or that you're interested in, that's just by happenstance. Because if you're going there, everything is about your intention. And if your intentions are wrong, that's just like saying you intended to go to the grocery store to get a tomato, but you never got the tomato because you went to the store to get the tomato, but then you met somebody that was looking for tomatoes too. Your intentions was not to meet somebody, your intentions was to get the tomato, but you still got something that you liked at the same place.
So looking for a God-fearing man, you don't necessarily have to find him in church.
God no.
Heck no.
Because who's to say that, because at the end of the day, is this God-fearing man well-rounded? Can this God-fearing man still go to the movies, still go to the baseball game, football game? Can he still do different things? Does this man like to travel? Because at the end of the day, there's more to a person than their religious beliefs.
True.
Okay. So when there's a couple, should there be some type of core beliefs between them?
I do believe so.
Okay.
You have to, because if you don't have any core beliefs, then what do you have? Because stuff stops working if we're only in it for the physical.
I agree.
I agree.
I definitely
So,
agree.
because it's like when it don't work, what you gonna do?
It's not because when your body parts fall apart, but then if your beliefs are still there and you believe in a higher power, depending on who you believe in. Let's be.
I know you have
Let's
to be
go-
politically
yes,
correct.
let's go
We have
across
to be
the board.
politically correct in
Yes.
this at this
you
meeting.
whoever you believe in, and then as long as you still have that, and then your physical start to go away, then I want to say that you probably will be able to withstand something because as you said, you still have that core.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, when you put God in the center of what you're doing, regardless of where you are on the spectrum, it doesn't matter if you're both living a secular life, or not living a secular life, but say you still have some secular things that you're doing. If God is in the center of it, then you do know how to get out of it. Because at the end of the day, nobody is perfect. And I'll never forget one of my friends. I never forget this. We were in high school, and he was one of the young ministers that was going around the time, and he said, "You know what? Everybody got a sin. Your sin might be lying, your sin might be fornication, but who am I to judge you because of what your sin is?" We have to take people for who they are, and then if you know how to help them to take it to another level, then that's what you step in to do. But in a relationship, it has to be give and take.
So in a relationship, should one? I'm not gonna say force. But how do you know when to scale back of trying to get them to be religious, in a sense, if that makes sense?
But you know what that
understand where I'm
goes?
coming
Yeah,
from?
but see, that goes back to your core belief. Because at the end of the day, you got to know what you're willing to accept. Because all of us have boundaries. All of us have deal breakers. So if we're getting in this relationship and you see where it's going closer and closer to doing something else, and when you quote unquote had that conversation and that core belief is not lining up, why would you set yourself up for failure?
Okay, suppose Candy's like really into church, and I'm out there living my life. I've had the best of them, and I come to her. Talk. What's up? Can I get that? No, I'm saving myself, blah, blah, blah. We're like, well, maybe, we could just do it one time before we get married.
Okay, my cousin just posted something that makes so much sense. She said, if you got God in the center of it, and you still doing what you're doing, you're not going to be comfortable in doing it. And so that to me is that when your quote unquote that conscious kick in, or when that Holy Spirit kicks in that's within you, or when you start getting that bad feeling like, oh man, I can't do this no more. If we say we doing this, and we say that we're going to live this way, and we say we're going to really commit to this particular lifestyle, you're not going to be comfortable in doing what you know or what your core beliefs tell you is wrong.
So that's why church girl dumped me.
She dumped you because I went to her house and told her to.
And I thought it was the lipstick. I thought it was the lipstick on my lips.
I was
You know
like,
what?
I went down there.
I cannot.
I drove.
cannot.
I drove to
cannot.
her city. I'm not gonna say where. And we're like, look, you might as well just let them go.
Whatever.
I did it to each girl.
But no, your cousin did make that. That makes a lot of sense, because when you don't feel something, most of the time we try to work
We try to
through
make it work.
Yeah,
And
but when it's really not working, then we tend to like, nah, I can't do this no more.
right. And that goes with everything though, because that's with anything. Because even if we take, let's say, the religion out of it, we take the sex out of it. What if they want kids and you don't want kids, or they have kids and you don't get along with the kids? That could be your deal breaker. because we are, and again, here we are again making something bigger than what it has to be. Whereas religion and certain things that in a relationship is just one piece of it. That's one aspect of it, because we could be great on the religious aspect. We could be great. We go to church together. We doing everything holy, but then when we come together, then there could be an issue with just, again, let's just use kids, 'cause usually that's like, or even in finances. So when we look at that, there's a lot of things in the core of that will make it bigger than what it, that add fuel to that fire.
If you are a couple that's struggling and having a hard time, whatever reason it is, do you recommend they go to a secular counselor or a church counselor?
I've actually heard people say both. It's up to them, because like when I've talked to married couples and people that are in the marriage ministry, now I know like some church people really, that like, let's say that really are higher ups in ministry, that say that are ministers, that are pastors, they sometimes will go to a secular counselor just to get a different view.
For those who don't really know religion terminology, what is, you said secular?
Secular.
Secular.
What is that?
Just basic non-church folks, or people that are just living a certain lifestyle that's outside of the church.
Or they might be a counselor who give you counsel,
Do you mean
but it's not Bible based.
Yeah, biblically based.
Okay.
Yeah.
So kind of like the lady off Color Purple, like Daddy's sinners.
You know what? I cannot.
Oh,
I cannot.
no?
I cannot.
Yeah.
I cannot.
Yeah, and I don't want to cut this short because I know that. But
Wow.
we do have 2 tickets to give out, and next week, Unrestricted and I will be in another state, so we have to give out.
Continent,
Yeah,
country.
Not yet. Not
No.
Oh.
Oh.
Wednesday next week. But I had to give him his schedule.
Please.
Yes, please.
So, if you would like to win these Sweet Spot tickets, Sweet Spot will be at the Howard Theater on July 27th. Please call in at 301-232-5700. If you're on Deborah's feed, if you're on our feed, please call in. We have just a few minutes to give these tickets away. Sweet Spot will be again at Howard Theater on the July 27th. And if you haven't been there, it is the most dopest stuff you will ever go
Now,
to.
it is
Secular.
Secular.
Oh, it's definitely secular.
base, but it is respectful. You just have to go to enjoy the environment, per se.
Yeah. All right.
So you got to put that
that's pretty
disclaimer
good.
out there.
You put the disclaimer out
Yes. 'Cause I was like, Deborah, you
there.
done
That's
set me
funny.
up.
Oh, Charlene said, I want to be an open-minded Christian counselor. I know that's right, because there's so many Christian counselors that are not open-minded. So that's why a lot of times people don't go to Christian counselors. It's going back to what y'all were saying.
I agree because, like you said, I'm sorry, you were saying maturity level.
Mhm.
So their maturity level might be still they haven't experienced enough to tell people. They might still just everything is Bible based.
Right. And I think that goes with, oh my God, experience. I say that all the time. It's like, how can I have a ministry to women and I haven't experienced some things that a lot of women have experienced?
But, well, yeah.
You know,
I-
how can I empathize with something that I've never had to experience?
True. Should one compromise their religion for a relationship?
Heck no.
No, I agree with Ms. Franklin.
Okay.
No. Because okay, let's go back. Would you compromise your child for a religion? I mean,
well,
would you compromise your child for a relationship? That's what I wanted to say.
Let's say, and I don't know the Bible like that, but let's talk about not chain of command, but I don't know the right terminology. What they say, you put your husband.
But no. You said you didn't say if you were married. If you're married, you put God first, then the husband, then the wife, then the children,
Okay.
then your pets, then others.
Okay.
That's if you want to talk about hierarchy. But what you asked me was, would I sacrifice my relationship for my religion? So are you asking me this in a dating perspective
Okay,
or
that's
in
true.
a
That's
married
true. You're right.
perspective?
So let's go dating.
Okay, dating? Heck no.
But let's just say not really compromising, but let's just say kind of guiding you away from the church. So, for instance, if you went to church every Wednesday Bible study, Sunday service. I like to go to movies on Wednesdays because it's cheaper. Come on, Deborah, let's go.
And then I would say it'd have to be before or after church, because then this is when you start to make your relationship your God. And God is a jealous God, and God only wants you to serve him. And if you're not serving God and you're putting that relationship before God, then God is going to have it to where that relationship is not going to work anyway. So that's the church side of me talking, and that's the real side of me talking. Because whenever you put something before God and your religious beliefs, then you're setting yourself up for failure, because now you're turning that into an idol.
But first of all, God sent this man to me, Deborah.
Who said God sent him? Because the devil can send you something too.
Because he did. I didn't have a man 2 months ago.
Because the devil can send you exactly what you like. And that could be your temptation to take you off course, to take you out of what you're supposed to meet.
So,
because you can't tell me that you had some relationships that when you look back, they were distractions. They were more of a distraction from who you were supposed to be than being somebody that you were supposed to be with.
True. Now I know we run out of time, but I know a lot of times it's been times, and this is real talk. There are a lot of people that ask for God to send them a mate. Okay. Someone comes in their life, and they're good people, and the sex is good. Now you just mentioned the devil will sometimes put a distraction in your life. Now, good person, good sex. This is the one for me. How am I to determine if God sent this to me or the other guy sent this to me?
Well, you will know, because if it's working, then it's working. Because if you're looking at relationships, because 9 times if it's going to be all good, then you know God sent this to you. And then if you prayed about it and you really asked God to give you a sign, because I'll be honest, I have prayed to, look, God, if this ain't for me, then move this joke out the way, because I'm not going to put up with certain things, because my tolerance level is low. And I'm at a point in my life now, especially
is that because you're a woman or because of religion? Which one is it?
Because I'm a woman in my age.
See, that's the thing.
Because because I'm a woman in my age, and when I look at my religious beliefs, because again, when I accepted my call to really walk into what I'm doing, then I cannot sacrifice certain areas of my life.
Okay.
I agree.
Hey, look, we might have to do a part 2.
We definitely gotta have a part
We gotta
2.
do a part 2. I told you we should do a 2-hour show. You don't
I
wanna
did.
listen to me.
I told him we had
my
to start
goodness.
at 5. He's like, not gonna work. I said we can do a 2-hour show. We gotta start at 5. He's like, not.
I only said it because the guests might be kind of hard to get. But
Yeah.
Deborah,
Yes, sir.
we are very honored that you came on to
Yes.
Candid
Oh, and
Discussion.
I'm honored that y'all had me.
We definitely wanted to let you know we appreciate you coming out and supporting us. How can the people follow you real quick?
Hey, y'all can follow me everywhere, conversationsdeborahfranklin.com, or you can follow me on all social media, Conversations Deborah or Conversations Deborah Franklin. Look forward to hearing from everybody.
All right.
All right. Well, I greatly appreciate that.
Oh, thank you.
You have healed our marriage. You have at least given us another good 20,000 years to go. Thank you, Ms. Miller.
Look at
the
God.
age app.
Look
Without
at
the
God.
age app.
Look
Without
at
the age
God.
app. Yes, look at God.
All right. We appreciate everyone viewing and listening to Candid
Yes.
Discussion. I'm Unrestricted D.
And I am Candy Davis. And don't forget, go to kkse.club to purchase your Sweet Spot tickets
All
and
right.
other events.
And we also got an event coming up. We're going to be affiliated with Goon Bay. They're going to do a hammock trip over the weekend. For more information, feel free to go to kkse.club.
Thank you. Have a great night.
Good
All
night,
right.
y'all.
Bye.